Welcome back. During the pandemic, Americans saved more than they had in years. But was that because of smart money moves or because they had nowhere to spend it? Local financial professional Brian Mirau from Mirau Capital Management joins us now, and we're discussing different money personality types and how each influences our money decisions. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian.
Hi, Rosemary. Thank you so much for having me today.
Why don't we go ahead and start by you explaining what a money personality is exactly?
Okay, Rosemary, our money personality is based on how we approach money, which ultimately impacts the financial decisions that we make. You know, the last few years, we've seen a lot of layoffs, a lot of Wall Street volatility, rising inflation, and a lot of other financial pitfalls. And how we react to these pitfalls depends on our money personality. Now, identifying your own personal money personality can shape your approach to spending, saving, and investing.
So you just explained what that was there, but what are the different money personality types and how many are there?
Okay, there's basically 4 types of money personalities that we see quite often when we visit with folks. The first one is what we call the careful saver. Careful savers, you know, they're consistently working to preserve their finances. They don't rack up a lot of credit card debt. They're not worried about driving the newest cars or living in the nicest houses, and they tend to avoid significant risk while they're investing. And they're absolutely okay with their money under the mattress. Now, part of the problem with this is that with inflation and taxes, your dollars really are taking a pretty big hit. You know, there's plenty of good, safe places that give you an opportunity for a reasonable rate of return, you know, without taking the risk of the market. And you can learn more about our retirement planning process at miraucapital.com. Now, the second is what we call the savvy investor. Investors are a lot like savers. They think about their money a lot and they try not to waste it. But unlike savers, investors are more willing to put their money to work for them rather than letting most of it sit in a low interest savings account. Now, while a saver tries to accumulate enough money to retire outright, investors try to maximize their passive income where the cash flow generated by their investment is enough to pay all their bills. And investors are often on the right track for a successful retirement. However, it's a good idea to consult with a trusted financial professional to make sure that they understand all of their investment options and especially their taxes. Now, the third is what we call the compulsive spender. Compulsive spenders, they like to shop. Okay, they like to buy the latest tech, the most expensive clothing, and new cars. You likely won't see them out bargain hunting, and they don't save much money either. It's hard to save when you're spending so much money on the latest trends. They do not understand about paying themselves first. And if I just described you, I would recommend, making a conscious decision to save money. Set up an automatic payment withdrawal from your paycheck to build up your emergency fund. And this way, you're going to have some money set aside when you have that rainy day. And hopefully you won't spend it unless you do have a rainy day. And you also want to consider what we call the 48-hour rule. When you want to make a big purchase, give yourself a couple of days waiting period to prevent those impulse buys. And then, Rosemary, the fourth is what we call the risk taker. If you consider yourself a risk taker, you're likely not afraid of investing your money, but you might invest more than you should in some of the high-risk places. Last year's meme stocks or investing heavily in cryptocurrencies are good examples of what these investments look like, with a shot of a high reward, but also take a big risk of losing a lot of money as well. These personality types need to think about balancing the present with their future. Your risk should be appropriate for your age and how close you are to retirement. And now, a diversified portfolio will be less susceptible to major events on Wall Street, like what we've been seeing the last couple of years and especially the last couple of months.
All right, Brian, and one last question. Do you have any other advice for our viewers and how they can help their wallets?
Absolutely, Rosemary. It's more about knowing what your personality type is than trying to change it. It's hard to change your money personality, but you can try to modify your behavior to help compensate for that. You have to know the pros and the cons of your personality type, and that can help put you on a solid financial path. Don't be afraid to ask for help or have someone hold you accountable for your money decisions. We have many tools available to help our clients and folks with their finances at our website at miraucapital.com. Thanks, Rosemary, and y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you, Brian.